G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for watching the Wildkard Rugby Show. Like, comment and subscribe. And yes, you are here today because the mighty All Blacks has put up a better performance against the Fijians than they did last week against the English. This was a pretty well drilled Fijian side and the All Blacks was able to pretty much run away with the game, 47 points to 5. The Fijians though did have some issues going into this game. They're like half of their team basically had to travel from Europe back to Fiji to get a passport, a visa, to then go back to travel out into the US for this match. So undoubtedly a lot of players were jet lagged and fatigued from the traveling. And despite that, I thought the Fijians put up a pretty good game plan, but it wasn't able to execute it to the polish that they wanted to see, the polish that they needed to contest against the All Blacks in this specific lineup. Now, the All Blacks, massive improvements in key areas that people were looking for. Lineout's not great. The lineout still hasn't been great. Was well defended by the Fijians, but much better than last week. I guess you know without Mario Itoje shenanigans, it is looking a lot better. And also having Sam Darrell in the fold, a much taller option in the lineouts, made it look just a little bit more confident, a little more steadier when it comes to those lineout timings as well. Scrum dominance maintained for the All Blacks, and also the ability for them to earn that opportunity to go wide, which is something that we really struggle with against the English, is to really punch through first with a lot of those short options, pick and go stuff, and that really worked for the All Blacks in this game, getting that forward momentum, and then sprinting the ball out wide with some backdoor plays, finding space into the wider channels for some really, really amazing tries. So big improvements in core areas for the All Blacks in that regard, but Scotty Barrett has been caught cheating. Alright, he did get away with one. So Scotty Barrett was doing this thing where he was like grabbing players around the rocks and pushing them into the rock, essentially, or preventing them from leaving the rock. And this has led to one try for the All Blacks near the try line. He literally grabbed the player who was trying to make a tackle. And then there was another one where he almost got away with it. He kind of like pushed the player who was not in the rock, kind of like into the rock, and then leading to a gap on the around the fringe, and then a try was disallowed due to that as well. So yeah, really, really sneaky stuff from Scotty, and he got caught. He got away with one tonight with that little bit of a shenanigans. Now for the DMAC performance, again, this is exactly what I was suspecting going into the game. This was my predictions after the English game. DMAC needed someone to hold his hands in the fullback position as a second playmaker, and Beauden Barrett was doing an amazing job once again this game, just really taking the initiative to decide which side to go, and just setting up another, just picking out the weakness in the defensive line, setting up his attack, and just kind of guiding DMAC on where he needs to be a lot of that time, and really just taking a lot of that stress and pressure out of Damian McKenzie. And once he had that pressure off of him, he's more confident. He's more, he backs himself a bit more in those, attacks, backs himself a bit more with taking the ball up on the gang line, making a little bit of, show and go sort of stuff. So once Beauden Barrett is on the field, you can see that DMAC is a lot more confident all around the park. The one thing I did think that needs to be improved for Damian McKenzie is his kicking game. He looked hesitant a lot of times with his kicking, almost taking a bit too long at times to put the kick away. And it's again, I'm not sure why he's hesitant about. Is it communication issues of who is going to be chasing the ball, or is he just not really 100% sure where he wants to put the ball at? But either way, I still think that the kicking game needs to be improved for Damian McKenzie. The All Blacks new players coming into this game was an absolute huge breath of fresh air. Wallace and TT, my goodness, he looks so good. He peaked late in the Super Rugby season. He looked really, really good late in the Super Rugby season, but his performance tonight was unbelievable. He came onto the game, just immediately made an impact for his team. All over the shops, it was amazing. Sam Darrell as well, looked with an extra bit of a height, looked really, really good, making everything look a lot more solid. The new players, Tossi as well, he was one of the best ball runners in Super Rugby, and he transitioned that into this game, showing exactly why he was, called into the squad. Tossi, and he, setting up, I think, one of the tries for the All Blacks as well in the second half. Bell, the hooker came off the bench as well, looking good, scoring a try. A lot of these young players future investments for the All Blacks, and they all look really, really good. Not to mention Cortez Ratama as well, incredibly well done in the first half, kept the tempo high. He looked a lot better than, not knocking on, what's his name, the Noah Hotham, I think his name, coming off the bench. But, I think Ratama was, he was really, really well done in the first half, really made the tempo high and really crisp in his executions. He did get knocked out in this game through a tackle. He got whiplashed his head on the ground. But I think he's overall going to be okay. And is it just me? Or does Cortez Ratama look like a younger version of Justin Marshall? Look like, without the crazy hair, right? Like, I don't know. He just looked Justin Marshall to me. Like relative cousin or something, maybe. But but again, very, very talented, very, very promising into the future. Another bit of interesting change for the All Blacks as well. They did have Anton Brown in the inside center and looked very, very more dominant in that crash ball area, and Billy Proctor as well. Very, very more physicality in that center field position with the selections there. So it'd be interesting. I did think that Riku Ioane was underperforming for the All Blacks, for not just the All Blacks, even for the Blues this season. I was surprised they were even selected going to the English game, obviously. Maybe because of the fact that they wanted to just have experience for those games. But yeah, immediately the center field combination looked a lot better, a lot more forward momentum with, like I said, Billy Proctor especially crashing through some of those areas. Jordy Barrett was put into the fullback position when he came onto the field. Just take out his brother to substitute out Bowden Barrett. So it was, again, interesting to see how that went. And immediately as well, as soon as Bowden came off the field, Damien McKenzie was a little bit, let's just say, look a little bit lost again. So it really shows that the instructions and communications between these players are so crucial when it comes to these tight games. All Blacks did really well. I think this is the first time in the July Test series where penalties were opted for scrum, because we know that if the short on penalties cannot be called for a scrum anymore. So a lot of times if you take a foot on penalty and you go for a scrum option, the opposition could just deliberately give away a short arm, and you lost your full on penalty essentially, immediately, right? So that it was pretty risky for the All Blacks to go for that, but they did get the rewards. They did have the scrum dominance throughout the game. Jeff Wilson was a little bit upset because they think that's not how you play rugby. But hey, that is how you play rugby, guys. If you have an advantage in a key area of the game, whether it's scrummaging, whether it's line out, whether it's kicking game, whatever it is like the fundamental core concept of Test rugby. Whichever area, whichever aspect of the game that you're dominating, you want to squeeze it as much as you can to win the Test match. Okay, you don't want it to just be like, oh my god, let's play a game style that suits Jeff Wilson and lose the game in return. So a lot of teams do fall into this trap. Not the fact, because for example, a lot of teams fall into trap to playing like the kicking game against the Springboks, and you end up losing in that game because the Springboks is like the master of kicking game, right? I guess not master kicking, but the high ball, kind of like high ball pressure, right? So you don't want to, you don't want to play that style that against the team that is, against the opposition. You need to find the style that suits you the most and win that battle and try to divert the game into the areas how you wanted to play. And that's how the All Blacks did tonight, and did really, really well to keep that game tight against the Fijians. The one thing I think I want to criticize about the Fijian is the stuff. The Fijians' new coach is Nick Byrne. I wasn't very happy with his coaching style in the Super Rugby with Fijian Honduras, and he's kind of just transitioned that style into the Fijian national team. Yes, it's playing a Test rugby style, but the style is not really the Fijian style. Like I just said, you have a style that is your advantage, which is the fast style running offload game, and that's the style that you want to divert the game into that area that you are very good at, and that is how that's called, that's your competitive advantage that you wanted to pursue. And the way Nick Byrne is trying to divert the Fijian to play a Welsh style rugby, maybe with a lot of kicking, with a lot of territory control, and the defense as well. It's very clear trying to do a rush defense. There's nothing wrong with that, but the rush defense is done very frantically, and they have, it's not really the right, the timing's a bit off, and they're not quite executing it, especially in the wider channels to actually shut down the ball. So they're actually just leaving gaps open in the defense, where people would rush up 10 channel and leaving the wider channels where 13 and 12 is wide open. The rush defense isn't following up. The rush defense needs to lead from the wider channels, kind of like sweep in. They were kind of like sweeping out, which just leaving gaps open, and so it wasn't really working. And I just not. And again, the Fijians, when they started to do those quick taps in the second half, started to offloading, they look better. They weren't able to execute that into success because they haven't been training this way, I'm guessing. So yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are, guys. So let me know. I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, because the competitive advantage of the Fijian side is the offload game, is the fast attacking style, and you wanted to kind of combine that with a solid set platform, but you don't want to just completely void that by playing a European style of rugby. So I really not sure the direction that Mick Byrne is taking the team, but it is what it is, and we'll have to see how this is going to go going forward in the future for the Fijian side. Anyway, let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 7 tries to 1 for the All Blacks, 696 run minutes to the Fijians, 382. This is the thing that I talk about in Super Rugby as well with the Fijian endurers. Endurers used to average 500-600 run meters even when they lose, because they were so happy to run the ball, and then that fatigue factor builds into the opposition as well, and then they find their success in that regard. And the biggest issue with the Fijians when they had that style was the fact that they weren't able to compete in the scrummaging, they weren't able to compete in the lineouts, but they've all improved in those key areas. So yeah, I mean, it's like they improve one area and they've completely forgotten the other, right? So 18 turnovers against the All Blacks, that's something that they'll probably have to look at in the post-match. 14 turnovers against Fijians, so they actually won the battle in that regard. This is what I was talking about, the missed tackles. The rush defense was way too fast in the close channels, and the far channels are not keeping up. Whether it's because the fatigue issues, fitness issues, whatever it is, the rush defense needs to come up first in the outside channels. The 13 channel needs to be shut down first before you jam your forwards into the 10. So this wasn't happening, which led to a lot of missed tackles for the Endurers. Very high amount of missed tackles. 55 missed tackles, 145. 26 missed tackles for the All Blacks, 113 in total. Kicks in plays, 20 a piece for both teams. Conversions, 1 miss for Damien McKenzie, 1 miss for Armstrong Ravova. Kicking meters for the All Blacks, 683. Fijians, 559. The breakdowns, 2 losses for each side was quite okay. Lineouts, 1 loss for the All Blacks. Much better this week, much more steadier overall. The Maul is still a bit of an issue. I've already talked about it. The Fijians lost 2 of the lineouts out of 8. Scrum as well. 3 scrum loss with the Endurers in their own feed. Not to mention the repeated penalties I was giving out when it was the All Blacks feed. It was absolute dominance, completely one-sided affair there. Penalties considered, this was pretty decent for both sides. 8 penalties considered for the All Blacks, only 6 for the Fijians. So really well done there in terms of keeping themselves composed under tremendous amount of pressure. So let's go through some of the key moments of the try points scored in this match. The game actually started off with a lot of kicking back and forward, and I was pretty surprised there. 9 minutes into the game, again, the All Blacks did this thing where they do a quick switch, switch of attack style with D-Mac just kind of going back and forth behind the rock, and then the quick switch comes around. There was a rush defense on D-Mac, quick ball out to Bowden Barrett. Runs through a bit of a gap, nice hands out to the wing. Caleb Clark goes into the corner for the first try. 7 points to the nil, which just that easy. The D-Mac basically was picked out a lock in the defensive line, and he switched side to that side, and then the rush defense was just not there to completely shut him down, and then he got the ball free, and then, like I said, the follow-up defense wasn't there. 7 points to nil. 13 minutes into the game, there was a 10-meter scrum for the All Blacks, and then it was crash ball from Anton Leonard-Brown out of the scrum, and the ball just got piled in. Quick ball came out. The Cortez Radama looked out in front of him. There was a gap, pick and go, try time, 14 points to nil. 17 minutes into the game, the Fijians were putting the pressure onto the All Blacks. There was a penalty advantage. Crossfield kick from Armstrong Ravola. And what's his name? Botitu got the crossfield. He was tackled, and there was the winger got the ball actually. He was getting taken out. He popped by Bowden Barrett, popped the ball back in field. Botitu was there to receive the ball. Caleb Clark misses the tackle. 14 points to 5. 23 minutes into the game, there was a penalty option, and the All Blacks went for scrum. Pick and go by Adis Savea on the scrum. Another penalty advantage, and just more pressure. Eventually, the ball went out. Little backdoor play again. Damien McKenzie, backdoor play from Ethan Blackadder to Damien McKenzie, just throwing the ball wide. Just again switching the side of the attack. Quick switch. Bowden Barrett picking out again. Weak point in the defensive line, taking the ball forward. Pass to Billy Proctor, crashed through for the try. 19 points to 5. There was a lot of pressure against the Fijian scrum. 33 minutes of the game, there was a Fijian scrum that was penalized for throwing the ball straight back. I think he probably just did a bit too obvious. I don't think it's the fact that he threw it back was the issue. I think he just literally, I don't even know, did he even get it into the tunnel at all? He just kind of like rolled it straight through the leg of the prop there. So he got penalized for that. There wasn't penalty. The scrum was given a short penalty for that. Back to the All Blacks. And the All Blacks with the short arm tap and go. Amura crashed really close. Pick and drive really close again. Adi Savia really close again. And really close. And Adi Savia picked it up the ball. Went to the short side, went in for the try. Scotty Barrett grabbed the player in this play. There should have been a no try, but the referee didn't see that and offered the try anyway. 26 points to 5, halftime score. 44 minutes into the game in the second half, there was a penalty for offside against the Fijians. The All Blacks went for the scrum option once again. Just crashed ball center field, really close. And again, just switching sides from one side of the attack. Quickly switch back to the blind side, which was now the biggest open side. I guess it's the wider side in the field now. Just good hands. Several Reese down the sideline. Try time 33 points to 5. 59 minutes into the game. Again, Wallace Satiti is on the field, just immediately making an impact. He stripped the ball, and the ball went out to Tossie. Crashed through a little gap. Again, Tossie's a tight head prop. Crashed through the gap, and then Tossie offloads to back in field to Satiti, and Satiti ran down 1 meter short, pick and go. Ethan de Groot, I am Groot, goes in for the try. 40 points to 5. And finally, 78 minutes into the game, there was again Satiti just making some really good tight play, just breaking through the defensive line. The All Blacks crashing balls closer and closer to the try line. Eventually, George Bell picked and go, went in for the try for the big boys. 47 points to 5, big win for the All Blacks. Absolute dominance for the 4-pack. And let me know your thoughts about this game. Let me know your thoughts about, what I think. Let me know your thoughts about how Mick Burns is managing the style of Fijian rugby. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Cheers.